De Palma, the upstart young satirist, delivers an even more brazen and coherent, consistent follow-up to Greetings, 1970's Hi Mum, as a director attempting to summarize his response to cultural input. He distills a representation of the zeitgeist, a countercultural epoch wherein it appears that the major controversies and contentions of the 2010s and 20s are an organic realization of societal discourse, not a mutation of a certain era, but a reanimation of its more discarded qualities, as the values of that bloc became beige mainstream of the next 3 decades of the 20th century. Hi Mum feels as though it was smashed out onto the paper as a screenplay, De Palma letting his psyche subsequently hang out across the frame, even more so than Murder a la Mode and Greetings. De Palma composed an early invitation to understand his alluring oeuvre via this feature. The most striking and potentially most discussed portion of the film is the play within a film known as Be Black Baby, wherein black performers dressed in whiteface attempt to simulate the black experience in America to white individuals painted as black. The furor and intensity of this sequence is not alike being in the project itself, the immersion granted via De Palma's camera-on-the-ground POV, not alike frenetic television news footage or deliberate attempts by fictional features to attain docu-realism. Costa Gavras Z will come to mind. Be Black Baby feels as though a deliberately provocative segment designed to anger the more conservative viewers at the fact that such a performance could take place, that any notion of racial difference be discussed at all, at least where white distinction might be concerned. But also it is easy to picture those of a more progressive, definitely amongst the black cultural pantheon, finding this depiction to be clownish, distasteful, and smarmily mocking. The sequence features the whiteface players assaulting one of the females in blackface as though a militant political conviction surpasses that of an innate human decency, which may what certain groups are advocating and striving toward, knowing a lack of it themselves. The idea that De Palma and Be Black Baby is satirizing a right-wing perception of black radical New York archetypes is worth a consideration, although he is arguably occupying a political lane far more comfortable and less considered than those of the upstate liberals, mentioned and disdained during this feature. The liberals are so despite their overt scrutiny. Those, the satirists, who mock the liberals, pay tribute to the radicals, don't demonize them yet depict them as lovably loony in a, oh well, you know, at the end of the day, immunity card, waiting to see how the cultural conflict pans out, eventually. The point is, the sequence is closer to apolitical, sitting by the sidelines boomer humour, spitted out satire, than a major socio-political statement, although its capacity to shake the more moderate or traditionalist of the viewers is thoroughly worth considering. The most amusing development within Be Black Baby is likely that the white subjects ultimately receive the experience as a pleasant night out, intending to recommend it to their friends and then carry on with their lives as though it were any other entertainment spectacle, and not the reorienting philosophic paradigm shift which the stages had intended for it to be. This is a very concise critique of a certain white wannabe radical class doing whatever soothes their conscience of any guilt at their so-called privilege. This word isn't used in the film, to my memory, though this is the term of choice now, and so I will apply it here. If De Palma has any insight into any valid social bloc in his world, it is that of the New York hip left-wing counterculture clusters, and so naturally his critiques of them, potentially out of a fear of who he could be or be perceived with, have more weight than the light-papered caricatures, which the stages of Be Black Baby could be, maybe, dismissed as, by some anyway. On the whole, Hi Mum is an extraordinary window into the turn of the decades, the apex of 60s era culture and its impact on the baby boomer generation, via a New York-oriented, post-Warhol, wannabe self-aware modernist, proto-postmodernist, auto-rock star iconoclast. He considers himself Goddard at this time, with more of a sense of humour, or more of an everyday sense of humour. Even his more serious films feature surprising spots of comedic intent. And Hi Mum is De Palma before he became that near-Hitchcock sensationalist. Early on, he was an American Warhol admirer, Goddard fan sensationalist, the ambitions of his inspirations with the sardonic Mad Magazine-era humour of his infamous generation. I might consider it one of his best films, I believe one of the most memorable, creatively impressive, entertaining, and genuinely captivating of De Palma's features, sincerely. In its pop nihilism, Hi Mum is Bakshi Fritz the cat, restrained by Catholic guilt and art school politics, making it a neutral window into an era without being distracted by any allegations of dated convictions. If Hi Mum is guilty of sitting on the sidelines and being less impactful politically, it enriches the film, therefore, as a valuable artifact into human encapsulation, representation of their historical circumstances. If we are to judge a De Palma film by how much questions you want to ask of the director about his creative process, Hi Mum is right up there, I would claim. Thank you and good night, once more.